On December 24th, 2020, God decided to pay me a visit. Over the course of about 3 weeks, my life would be forever changed. Fast forward to today, just 3 years later, my life has drastically changed. Reflecting on my experience, it's very hard to piece together an explanation that makes sense to me, much less to someone else that I'm trying to share these experiences with. It's almost like God handed me a bag full of random seeds. Some had a vague label on them, but the majority had none at all. I'm not a farmer, and I've got very little experience gardening, but I have this bag of seeds from God, and I have a sneaking suspicion that God knows something that I don't. Hence, Him handing me this bag. God is calling me to step out and start sharing parts of this story before it's reached a resolution. So to put it in layman's terms, God has called me to start telling a story which I don't know the ending to yet. This story is still in progress. Instead of continuing to run from this and spend every hour of every day asking God why before I act, I'm just going to obey what I've been told. So here we are. I do know one thing that I can say without a doubt, one thing that I've experienced firsthand over the past 3 years. And that one thing is something called faith. I'm learning firsthand what faith entails, what it is, how to have it, and most of all, the ferocious battle it takes to maintain my faith day in and day out. By no means am I speaking to you from a place of having finished this battle. If anything, I'm right smack in the middle of it. The storm is raging around me. The battle is on all fronts, and the fortress that clings to me is God Himself. Little by little, day by day, God has and God is sustaining me in this fight. There are days I want no part of this battle. There are days I feel like I'm winning, and there are days that I feel utterly defeated, sometimes even before my feet hit the ground. The only thing consistent in this battle is God Himself. It's His story that I'm just starring in. I try so hard to understand what God is up to try and make sense of what's taken place and what is taking place. And most of the time, God doesn't give me a clear understanding of what's happening. He reveals things to me sometimes beforehand, sometimes as I'm going through, sometimes looking back, and my least favorite of all, but the best instructor in the school of faith I'm currently attending, sometimes not at all. Trying to follow God's will is an adventure unlike any other. I guess that's why He's God. He knows the end from the beginning, and He invites us to participate in the journey through the middle. So to answer this question of why I have started We Are Built for God, the reason is because God has called me to do it. I don't know where He plans for this to go. I'm simply following His lead. I do know this, that we are living in a time where God is needed more than ever. Unlike the teaching that the world infects us with, which pushes love as a transactional thing, you get what you give and vice versa, God's love is way better than that. God is the one, the only true love. God is love. And true to His nature, He will stop at nothing to pursue a relationship with all of His children. Not because they deserve it, but because that's God's love. It's a supernatural love. It's my desire that somehow, some way, this platform can lead you to a relationship with the one and only living God. A relationship you were predestined to have, but true to His nature, one that God allows you to accept or deny. God is the gatekeeper of freedom. He never forces His love on anyone, and He allows everyone the freedom to accept or deny a relationship with Him. In Revelation 3:20, Jesus says, "Here I am. I stand and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person, and they with me." I'm blessed to have you here with me and take part in one of God's endless supplies of incredible stories. If there's one thing that I could say I definitely know is part of God's will, it's that one day we will all know why we are built for God.